Hey, welcome back to this mini lecture on breakout rooms. Let's go into a little detail about what they are, their positives and negatives, and maybe some suggestions and thoughts on what you might want to do if you're going to be using them online, if you're leading some kind of session. What technically is a breakout room? Breakout rooms allow you to split your online meeting in up to 100 separate sections or sessions. That depends, of course, on the affordance or the ability of your specific online meeting program. The host can switch between sessions at any time. I'll talk more about the merits of that a little bit later on. Positives: why would you use breakout rooms? What could possibly be a useful reason for doing that? One is engagements. Students described that they felt more comfortable speaking in the breakout room and were more likely to raise concerns when re-entering the main room. Oftentimes I find as an educator that smaller group discussions within a breakout room can sort of prime the pump for people to feel like get their ideas flowing in a verbal manner, and they can, once they sort of practice it in a smaller group, they're more comfortable saying in a bigger group. Time. You can save time on working on specific tasks. So by speaking, students can use these breakout rooms to discuss various strategies, tactics, etc. they're going to be using for a specific task. So it could save time later on. Honesty: there are more candid discussions in smaller groups. I find that when I work with older students, I try to sort of not monitor them and let them have as much time as possible on their own to allow them to talk. Because I think as an educator, there's a tendency maybe not to say everything you want to say if one of us is there. But I understand if you're working with younger students, you may be a little bit less, you might not feel as good about doing that for other reasons. For community, small breakout rooms can allow bonding and networking between peers, which can be really useful in building communities of practice, which I talk about in other videos. Collaboration: there can be better collaboration between teams and team members. So say if you have two small teams, they can also talk. If you divided them into really small teams, it can allow those teams to get together in bigger breakout sessions and talk among each other. Naturalness. If the affordance of your online platform allows you to do this, students can go from quote unquote table to table and join any conversation just as naturally as they would in real life. Also, for myself, I often try to use the shuffle feature, which changes the roster of people in each of the breakout sessions, so people all meet each other in smaller groups and not the same groups all the time. It shuffles who's in each one. Negatives: why not use breakout rooms? Lack of autonomy. Depending on, again, the system that you're using, because some allow this, some don't. Participants can't select breakout rooms they want to be in. They can't self-select their group, which can, frustrate those who want to be with peers that they have worked with in the past or just enjoy being around. Class time: small group work always takes longer than we think, and as a result, they're useful, but that amount of time that we might have allotted might not be enough and might take away from your instructional time, even though you should consider all of this instructional time, including breakout sessions, and that can cause this sort of a dent into the amount of time you have allotted for your entire class. Prep time: you might want to, if you have very specific ideas about who you want to group together, setting up groups can be really time consuming depending on how good you are at doing this. And finally, cost. I've worked with certain online platforms that do not allow necessarily breakout rooms, and that's an extra feature that you have to pay for. So that's from my own experience. Breakout room suggestions: if you're thinking of doing them, and I highly suggest, something you might want to do, especially for people that are a little bit that need more direction, give specific roles such as a scribe and a spokesperson, or just say that you want to have someone scribing notes and someone being a spokesperson. That by giving out these rules specifically to people may save time. You also may want to say more generally, have someone be the scribe and write down some points. Have someone decide who's going to be a spokesperson, so that's done within the group. Routines: conduct your activities in a consistent format for each session. That way, what can be quite time consuming earlier in a semester or a term becomes less so, because you have the same people in the same groups doing the same things. Finally, monitoring: ensure the groups are on task, give feedback on the spot, and answer any questions from the learners. That is where the teacher, the instructor, sort of bobs and weaves within different breakout rooms. Again, when I work with older students, I find I resist doing that because I honestly would rather students have a bit of a safe haven where they can talk about whatever they want. But I understand why you may resist that for legitimate reasons. Again, say if students are younger, maybe if you're worried about personalities, meshing, etc., etc. That was Breakout Rooms. My name is Dino. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to comment on the video. Do you use Breakout Rooms? If so, do you have any tips to share with myself and other people who might be watching this video? If you've used Breakout Rooms, what are some things, maybe some experiences that you've had that weren't so useful? What could you maybe share with us to help us improve our practice? Are you students who would love to have Breakout Rooms but find that you don't have them when you're online? Please feel free to like this video. Please feel free to subscribe if you like this kind of content and want to see more of it. As always, take care. Bye-bye.